Hi everyone, in today's reading lesson we're going to carry on with our work on the comic strip from the Polar Habitats magazine that we started looking at yesterday, and then we're going to read a couple more chapters of A Boy and a Bear in a Boat. So like yesterday, our learning objective is to discuss word meanings, linking new meanings to those already known. Yesterday we spoke about the fact that the comic strip has lots of puns in it. Remember, a pun is a joke, which is a play on words. People make puns in order to make people laugh. So we looked at this one where Gak says, I thought you said you wanted to have an ice day, which is a play on the word nice. I asked you to go and see if you could find any other puns, so let's take a look at some together now. Here's a couple that I liked that I've highlighted in yellow. So the boy says, it's hard work sticking these blocks together. And then the girl says, yes, I wish we had some glue. So obviously the fact that igloo sounds the same as igloo. And then I like this one as well. That's a great igloo. It looks like you could live in it. Well, it doesn't have a toilet. Maybe we should just call it an ig then. Because an igloo without a loo is just an ig. Love it. And here's one more. That wasn't the best idea, Gak. Now we've snowwear to keep warm again. So snowwear instead of nowhere. I hope you like those puns. I know they're a little bit cheesy, but I hope you had fun trying to find them. We're going to read through our text again. So we started looking at this yesterday. For now, I'm going to read and I just want you to listen and follow along with your finger. Going for cold. Can you take us somewhere in your spaceship, Gak? Where do you want to go? We don't mind. We just want to have a nice day. Why have you brought us to the North Pole? I thought you said you wanted to have an ice day. No wonder you told us to dress warmly. Brrr! How do people keep warm here? They make shelters out of snow and ice. Even polar bears do it. All right, let's build an igloo. We just need lots of blocks of snow. It's hard work sticking these blocks together. Yes, I wish we had some glue. That's a great igloo. It looks like you could live in it. Well, it doesn't have a toilet. Maybe we should just call it an ig then. These snow walls block the wind, but how is it so warm? Snow has tiny air pockets, making it a great insulator. It traps our body heat inside. And I can make it even warmer in here. With my alien heat ray. I used it for reheating soup on my home planet. Yikes! Yikes! That wasn't the best idea, Gak. Now we've snowwear to keep warm again. Now we're going to try reading it through together. So a couple of things to think about before we start. We need to keep a nice steady pace and stay in time with each other. So I don't want you to read it really, really fast, like, can you take us somewhere in your spaceship, Gak? Where do you want to go? We don't mind, we just want to have a nice day. Because that's way too fast. But I don't want you to be really slow, like, can you take us somewhere? Because we'll be here all day. So let's read it at the same pace. Remember to use the punctuation to help you with your intonation, so with how you say it. If there's a question mark at the end, it's a question, so our voice needs to go up slightly. If it's an exclamation mark, they're shouting it, so we need to say it with a bit more expression. Let's go. Going for cold. Can you take us somewhere in your spaceship, Gak? Where do you want to go? We don't mind. We just want to have a nice day. Why have you brought us to the North Pole? I thought you said you wanted to have an ice day. No wonder you told us to dress warmly. Brrr! How do people keep warm here? They make shelters out of snow and ice. Even polar bears do it. All right, let's build an igloo. We just need lots of blocks of snow. It's hard work sticking these blocks together. Yes, I wish we had some glue. That's a great igloo. It looks like you could live in it. Well, it doesn't have a toilet. Maybe we should just call it an ig then. These snow walls block the wind, but how is it so warm? Snow has tiny air pockets, making it a great insulator. It traps our body heat inside. And I can make it even warmer in here. With my alien heat ray. I used it for reheating soup on my home planet. Yikes! Yikes! That wasn't the best idea, Gak. Now we've snowwhere to keep warm again. Well done. So now I'd like you to try reading our tricky words. Great job. So we've got great, even, should, so, said. What is the root word in the word reheating? Tell me now. Well done, it's heat because it has a prefix and a suffix. And finally, what spelling rule can you see in the word doesn't? Tell me now. We've got an apostrophe for a contraction. So instead of having two words, does not, we've squished them together to make doesn't. We've taken out the letter O and replaced it with an apostrophe. Now let's do our word aware technique. So remember, I go first and then it's your turn. And remember, your actions might be different to mine and that's absolutely fine. So my turn first. Shelters, your turn. My turn. Shelters, your turn. My turn. Shelters, your turn. My turn. Shelters, your turn. Show me on your fingers how many syllables. 2, and then show me your action for shelters. So remember, mine is a little house. Okay, my turn. Insulator, your turn. My turn. Insulator, your turn. My turn. Insulator, your turn. Let's clap it. My turn. Insulator, your turn. How many syllables? Insulator, 4, and let's do our action. Remember, if something's well insulated, it keeps you nice and warm. So I'm going to pretend I'm really, really hot. I'm sweating in my house because it's so well insulated. Okay, next one. My turn. Igloo, your turn. Igloo. My turn. Igloo, your turn. Show me on your fingers now how many syllables in igloo. That's 2, and then do your actions for me. This is mine, pretending to be an igloo. Not very well, but hey. Okay, the next one. Alien. 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 How many syllables? Alien, that's 3. And do your actions. Remember, I decided to give myself a little pointy antennae. And the last one is reheating. So, my turn. Reheating. Your turn. Reheating. My turn. Reheating. Your turn. Reheating. Show me for the last time today how many syllables. Reheating. That's 3. And show me your action. Remember, I've got a little saucepan or something on the stove that I'm reheating. Okay, well done. The main Viper skill that we're practicing this week is vocabulary to link with our learning objective of discussing word meanings. So let's look at this section of the comic strip. It says, "Can you take us somewhere in your spaceship, Gak? Where do you want to go? We don't mind. We just want to have a nice day." Tom asks, which phrase shows that the girl is happy wherever she goes? Pause the video now. You can write it down or maybe just tell your grown-up. Well done. So the girl says, we don't mind, which shows that she's happy wherever she goes and doesn't have a preference. Now we have another section of the comic strip where they say, it's hard work sticking these blocks together. Yes, I wish we had some ig glue. Tom wants to know, why has the author spelt igloo incorrectly? Again, you can write down your answer or just discuss it. So as we spoke about at the start of this lesson, that's a pun, which is a play on words designed to make the reader laugh. And the last question, this section of the comic strip says, these snow walls block the wind, but how is it so warm? Snow has tiny air pockets, making it a great insulator. It traps our body heat inside. and I can make it even warmer in here. Tom wants to know, what adjectives can you see? This is a question I'd like you to go away and think about before our next reading session. So again, you can write them down or you can just discuss them. Before you do that, let's remind ourselves about what an adjective is. An adjective is a describing word. Let's look at this sentence. Tom's dad is a great explorer. So which of those words is describing the noun explorer? So the adjective is great, which I'm going to highlight now. So this is telling us what kind of explorer Tom's dad is. He's not a rubbish explorer or a silly explorer. He's a great explorer. Now let's look at this one. The snow is very cold. What's the adjective here? The adjective is cold because it's describing the snow. Take a look back over our text and find all the adjectives. If you'd like to, you could also think, what other adjectives could they have used? So instead of great, can you think of any alternatives? Okay, let's read some more of A Boy and a Bear in a Boat. You'll notice I've changed into my explorer's gear. This bobble hat was keeping my polar bear warm, but it fell off his head, so I thought I'd wear it instead. So we are at the chapter that is called Message in a Bottle. The bear rowed. The boy sat very still and stared blankly out to sea. His stomach felt as if it was tightly knotted inside him, and his mouth felt very dry. He drank the last of the ginger beer. It was flat and warm and horrible, and he wished he had a dozen more bottles just like it. Once on holiday at the seaside, he had found a bottle on the beach with a message on a piece of paper inside it. It had come from another country, quite a long way away, his dad told him. He had meant to look it up on the map when he got home, but he forgot, and now he couldn't even remember the name of the country. It hadn't said anything very interesting, so far as they could tell, but he had been excited to think how far it had come from to reach him. He decided to write a message of his own. He used the paper bag the sweets had been in and wrote on it with a pencil from his bag. When he had finished, he put the paper into the bottle and screwed the top back on. Then he leaned out over the back of the boat and dropped the bottle into the water. He watched it, bobbing there on its side, growing smaller and smaller as they moved away from it. Soon it was just a speck in the distance. Then it was a half a speck. Then it was gone. So again, quite a small chapter. Our next chapter is called Smelly. Time passed. It got darker and a little colder, but otherwise nothing much changed. The bear rowed. The boy fidgeted and fussed. He was stiff and restless and, despite his tiredness, longed for some activity. He wanted to stomp about impatiently, but there wasn't room to stomp, so all he could manage was some rather awkward shuffling, and, still unused to the unsteadiness of the boat, he lost his balance. He lurched against the side and the boat tipped, sending him further off balance. He arched his back, windmilled his arms, and just managed to stay upright. Not only that, but he was pretty sure that the bear, head down and concentrating on his rowing, hadn't noticed anything. Then the boat rocked back the other way and the boy fell, landing on his bottom with a loud thump. "Having a lie down?" said the bear, still not looking up. But the moon was full and bright enough for the boy to see him smiling. "Humph," said the boy. The bear pulled his smile in at the sides a bit. "You should get some sleep," he said. "It's late." "I'm not tired," said the boy, sitting tenderly back on his seat. Then he yawned noisily. "No, I can see that. Are you hungry, though? Do you want something to eat? I think we'd better save the chocolate for now, but there's a sandwich left." The bear stopped rowing and reached beneath him for his lunchbox. "I thought we'd eaten them all already," said the boy. "I thought so too," said the bear, "but then I cleared out all the tin foil and found this one at the bottom of the box. I think it must be left over from my last trip. So it's, a bit past its best." "What's in it?" said the boy. He had tried a few of the bear's sandwiches by now and had grown wary of their eccentric fillings. They had been tuna fish, peanut butter and pineapple, sprout and honey, chili pepper, mustard and horseradish, and what the bear called his breakfast special: bacon, sausage, egg, porridge, cornflakes and coffee beans between 2 slices of toast. He didn't relish the thought of anything else along the same lines, but he really was very hungry. The bear rummaged in the lunchbox and pulled out something bready and triangular. He held it towards the boy. "All yours," he said. The boy looked at the proffered sandwich. He noticed that the bear was holding it rather gingerly in the tips of his 2 claws and right at the corner. Despite this, the bread did not bend at all. The boy looked up at the bear. He looked back at the sandwich. It was very difficult to tell what colour it was by moonlight, but whatever colour it was, it didn't seem right. "What's in it?" said the boy again. "I can't remember," said the bear. "Well, open it up and take a look," said the boy. "I can't," said the bear. "It's stuck." The boy looked up at the bear. The bear smiled thinly down at the boy. They both looked back at the sandwich. "Is it—" said the boy. "What?" said the bear. "Is it— only a bit, but is it glowing?" "No," said the bear. They each squinted at the sandwich and leaned in cautiously to look more closely. "Hardly at all," said the bear. "I'm not really that hungry," said the boy. "You have it." "That's very kind," said the bear, "but I think that I'll save it for breakfast." And when he put the sandwich away again, the boy noted that the bear locked the lunchbox, which he didn't usually do, and seemed to take extra care as he stowed it away. They each returned to their usual places. "You should get some sleep," said the bear. "I'll keep going for a bit. It's a nice night. Thought I'd row for a while longer and take a look at the moon." "Look at the moon," said the boy. "Why? It's not going to do anything, is it? I mean, the moon is just the moon." But as he said it, he looked up at the moon himself, and as there was nothing better to do, he kept looking at it for quite a while. He'd been right. It didn't do anything, but it didn't have to. It was just beautiful. It just was. The boy gazed at the moon longer and harder than he had ever done before, because who would spend time looking at the moon when there was a telly to watch and video games to play and comics to read, and felt, for a moment, calm and safe and sure. "Coo," he said, but very quietly. And then the boy looked at the stars. There were a lot of them, more, he thought, than usual. He wondered where all the new ones had come from. Maybe they were just all the usual ones, but they'd all bunched together in the same bit of sky. He twisted his neck, looking up at different patches of sky, but they all seemed equally crowded. "You can see more stars out here," said the bear, as if reading the boy's mind, "because it's properly dark." The boy lowered his head and looked at the bear. "It's funny, isn't it?" the bear went on. "With everything else you can't see as well in the dark, but with stars you can see them better. In towns with streetlights and such like, it's not dark enough to see some of them, but out here—" He looked up and smiled, and either forgot to continue or felt no need. The boy looked up again too. They sat there for a while, quiet and content, drinking in the beauty of the bejewelled light. "Do you use them to navigate by?" asked the boy. "Eh?" The boy looked at the bear, and his neck, stiffened by a light breeze, gave a small ache of complaint at having to move again. "Do you use the stars to know which way to go?" The bear scrunched his brow. "To know which way is north and south and everything?" "Ooh," said the bear. "That sounds clever. How do you do that?" "I don't know," said the boy. "You're supposed to be the sailor. I don't even know the names of any of them." "They have names?" said the bear. The boy's wide eyes were like 2 more dim stars now, staring hard in disbelief. "Yes, of course," said the boy. "They all have names, and if you know the names and you know which one is which and where they all go, then you can tell which direction is which and know which way you need to go, somehow." "Cool," said the bear. "That sounds like a lot of hard work when you could just use a compass." "Have you got a compass?" said the boy. "No," said the bear. "So how do you know which way we're going?" "I just do," said the bear. "I know where we are and I know where we're going. And that's all, but that's enough." The boy looked grumpy and suspicious. He was getting cold too. He hunted around huffily, feeling for his coat in the especially dark darkness beneath his seat. "Oh," said the bear, "I do know one thing about telling directions from the stars." "What's that then?" said the boy. The bear pulled his oars in and stood up, raising his eyes to the deep dark and the dazzle of the sky. He scanned the stars in the patch of sky directly above him, as if seeking something out. The boy stood too, up on top of the middle bench seat, closer to the bear than he normally ever got, to follow his gaze. He was still shorter than the bear, but he could look into his eyes now and see reflected in their dark wetness the wonder and magic and mystery of the night, the stars sparkling and sparkling within. Then he looked up again, trying to see what the bear saw, searching the blinking lights as if for clues or patterns. You see, said the bear in a distant, quiet voice, as if almost in a trance. He slowly raised an arm. You see, he pointed at the nameless stars above, those 3 brightest stars there, almost in a line. Yes, said the boy in a whisper, looking straight along the bear's raised arm and pointed claw. Well, that way, said the bear. Yes, said the boy. That way, said the bear. Yes. Is definitely. Yes. Up, said the bear. There was a long, long pause during which the boy considered a number of things to say to the bear. He came up with something quite good and very rude, but was still waiting for the bear to stop sniggering naughtily at his own joke when he was overcome by a horrible feeling of nausea. The bear, still giggling, had not lowered his arm, and the boy's face was close to his armpit. Ah, said the boy, you stink! It wasn't as clever a thing to say as he'd intended, but it worked rather well. The bear looked hurt, and the boy was glad of it. I've been working quite hard, you know, said the bear defensively, quickly lowering his arm. I was bound to work up a bit of a sweat. I'm not surprised if I smell a little ripe. Ripe, said the boy, pinching at his nose and retreating to the back of the boat. More like rotten. I think I'm going to be sick. Ugh! The boy leaned out of the boat and, overacting outrageously, pretended to be sick. Oh, SOS, Mayday, I'm stuck on a boat with a fat, stinky bear. Blah! Send help! Send the Coast Guard! Send soap! His already unconvincing act was made no more believable by frequent bouts of laughter. Even without looking back, the boy could tell that the bear was hurt, and he no longer took pleasure in the fact. But somehow, now that he had started laughing, he found that he couldn't stop. He slumped over the side and laughed and howled and beat his fists until he was breathless and hoarse and exhausted. At last he stopped. He felt ashamed and didn't want to look round at the bear, but somehow, even now, he felt no urge to apologise. So he knelt there, staring into the dark water and listening to his breathing and his heart, both slowing. Suddenly the water lit up and the boy saw his reflection. There were tears on his cheeks, and he didn't know if they were tears of laughter or of regret. Either way, he didn't want to look at himself, so finally he stood, embarrassed, still not facing the bear directly, but glancing sheepishly at him out of the corner of his eyes. The bear had lit an old-fashioned lantern and was hanging it from a pole he had raised at the front of the boat. The bear sat down and took his oars up once more. You should sleep now, he said. The boy turned away from him, lay down and curled himself up beneath the ragged blanket that the bear had given him on the first night. He closed his eyes and listened to the rhythm of the oars. Splish, splish, splish. He wondered what he might say or do to apologise, but before he had thought of anything, he was fast asleep. Well done for all your hard work today, and I'll see you for tomorrow's reading session where we'll carry on reading A Boy and a Bear in a Boat. So see you tomorrow. Bye.